Hi, Genki Call here with the Soulforge offerings for the week of April 25th, 2022. Got something good in here. All right, so let's start off with the legendaries. They are Gog and Good. It's, it's an either or type of thing. It's just a mechanic I don't generally care for, so I don't usually use this thing, but he will either do 36 damage or do damage to the first enemy and spend all my gold to boost the damage, or do damage to all enemies and gain 50 gold. So, plus you do get 20 bonus gold on 4 plus gem matches, and you also gain some life. So, it's okay. I personally would not recommend crafting this one. Artema, actually, I think that she is an unsung hero. I really, really love this troop. She explodes a row, does damage to the two weakest enemies boosted by ally centaurs. But what I really like about her, I like to stick her in the front of the team. She has a 40% chance to dodge skull damage, gains 3 to all skills if in the first position, and best of all, she has a 50% chance to do true damage with skulls. So, um, for instance, the Lord of Slaughter has a 100% chance to do so. She has a 50-50 chance of doing so. And so I actually think she's a lot stronger than people give her credit for. And I've had a lot of fun with her in events and in delves. Would I recommend spending 800 diamonds on her? No, I wouldn't. Because she's pretty situational. Um, unless you need her to get the power level in Divinian Fields up and you have some diamonds to spare, I wouldn't say so. Divine Ishbala is one that you might want to craft if you desperately want to do some of the meta Guild Wars teams with Divine Ishbala and Rope Dart, Qilin, and Moonrabbit. It's a fantastic team. Transforms all red gems to skulls and green gems to yellow and enchants 2 random allies. Just this last part, I mean, the yellow feeds right back into herself, and all divine allies start with 40% mana. She's very strong, and like I said, she's part of some meta teams. This is one that somebody might consider spending 800 diamonds on. It's totally up to the specific person. If you have a team you are desperately needing her, or you need her for a power level, she is very good. But if you're not going to use her, then there's no point in crafting her. Baphomet is also, he's okay. He does damage to 3 random enemies if they're burning, deal double damage. He does do triple skull damage versus burning enemies, so this is a way to get triple skull damage if you don't have Fireblade, for instance, and you're using Zul'Goth, or you have something. He is useful. This triple skull damage versus burning is very nice, and he does reflect 25% of skull damage. He doesn't have any skull damage reduction, but at least he can be useful. Again, it's crafting legendaries it's a lot of diamonds, and they're usually better spent on mythics. So, as far as the mythics go in here, so I'm skipping over these because they're always here. Zathenos and Zul'Goth are also always here. Yasmin Chosen. I just got her recently, so I haven't really used her, except she can loop nicely. I did notice that when I was using her in an event, I believe. She does scatter damage boosted by entangled enemies and then creates 10 green gems, so she can loop and can be fun to use with that loop. It feeds right back into herself. She does entangle a random enemy when matching green gems. You don't even have to have a match for it, just need green gem match. And she's creating all these green gems, so she could be fun to run with Tannenbaum, who does triple skull damage to entangled enemies. Would I recommend crafting her? She's not considered to be a great mythic, so unless you need her for Forest of Thorns power level and you have other mythics that you already want, that you already have, if you already have those ones you really, really want, Otherwise, save your diamonds for something you really, really want. We've got the Arachnaean Weaver in here, one of my favorites. However, I don't recommend crafting the Arachnaean Weaver until Sunday because you have a chance to pull the Arachnaean Weaver with your event keys this week. So if you really want the Arachnaean Weaver, I would recommend waiting until the end of the week to see if you can get it with your event keys first, because using event keys is much better than spending 4,000 diamonds because those are so hard to get. However, if you really want this for Guild Wars, then by all means. But it is one of my favorites. It's definitely my most used because it is so strong. Webs all enemies, so that reduces their magic to 0, which means anything in purple on their card is going to be reduced almost to nothing, if not 0. And then if it's going to do true damage to the last 2 enemies, and if one of them dies, it explodes 15 gems. Plus, if you happen to lose a troop, you have a 75% chance to summon the strongest summons in the game. Web Spinner does triple skull damage to poisoned and or webbed enemies, and if you have it traded, but the second trait is to web them. So unless they're immune to web, you will wipe out the other team with the web spinner. So it's super, super strong. Fantastic. Love this particular mythic. But again, if there's something that you want more, save your diamonds. Enraged Kurandara. A problem with Enraged Kurandara is that you have to have the Heart of Rage from the vault, and the vault is the only way to get it. But no, Enraged Kurandara is always here. My bad. Moving on. Enraged Kurandara and Darksmith Drenzar are always here. The two that aren't remaining here are Dao. And Dao is not considered to be amazing. As a matter of fact, I've heard many people say he's pretty bad. But yeah, the Servant of Dao is really no big deal. And it's kind of like Shibanu Vespera on attack. So it eliminates 16 for me. It's half magic from a random skill on an enemy. That could be anything. It could be magic, life, armor, or attack. Destroy 8 gems of one of their mana colors and then repeat 2 more times for random enemies. The thing that's amazing about Shibanu Vespera is she can cast on herself to boost her own magic and keep giving more and more and more. If you have a choice between Shibanu Vespera and Dao, absolutely Shibanu Vespera is the way to go. This guy's okay, unless you can buff his magic somehow. He's just kind of, he seems on paper really meh, and from what I've heard from the community, he's really not great. I would consider crafting him myself if I had the diamonds, simply because I need the mythic for power levels, but that would be the only reason I would craft him, is for the power level. Then we've got the Faerie Gobmother, and this is the first time the Faerie Gobmother has been in the Forge, and it doesn't seem like it's been 5 or 6 weeks since the last campaign ended. So when the campaign, she's the mythic from the last campaign, and they are not supposed to come into the Forge for 5 or 6 weeks after it ends. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but clearly it must have been, because she's here in the Forge for the very first time. She will gain an extra turn and either create 2 to 3 wish gems, or damage to all enemies boosted by wish gems, or give life to all other allies, not herself. It looks like it says all other allies boosted by wish gems. She also has a 50% chance to convert a yellow gem to a wish gem when the turn begins. That's really high, and spell reduction by 25%. So I haven't used her much. She is an all-in. You got to go all in with her. You need to have something that can blow things up, otherwise the entire board will be filled with wish gems, and then the whole board will reset and your mana will be drained, the enemy mana will be drained, if they don't have something to blow it up. But, she's kind of gimmicky and could be fun, but I haven't played with her very much, so I couldn't say. So let's move on to weapons. Always here, not always here. The Dark Staff is one of those 75 diamond cheap weapons. So we've got damage to an enemy, double damage if there's a dark storm, and it creates a dark storm, which is super nice. Let me see. I need to do something really quickly here. I wish that I had set this up before before I started my video, but I wasn't thinking about it. Give me 1 second here. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I apologize. What's this called? The Dark Staff? I just want to look up Dark Staff. I'm looking up its buff. So upgrades are attack, life, attack, magic, disease the first enemy, drain 3 mana from the first enemy, and web the first enemy. So the web is kind of nice, but I'm not going to get it because of what it does. Although I do like the Dark Storm, I am going to craft it because I need it for my power levels. So I must craft all weapons, must have them all. Always here, always here, always here. Dark Shot. Okay, I said all weapons. I'm not crafting the dooms. All right, Dark Shot. This does damage to an enemy, create 5 purple gems boosted by webbed enemies. So if you're running with the Arachnaean Weaver and have them all webbed, that would be 20 purple gems. That's pretty nice, actually. And the upgrades for Dark Shot are, give me 1 second here. Attack, life, attack, magic. Eliminate 2 points of a random skill from the first enemy. Destroy 3 random purple gems. Create a dark storm. And web the first enemy. So, again, it could be useful. And I'm going to craft it. Because I need it. I must have it. Doomed potions. Oh, this isn't actually... No, wait, it is actually a doom. All right, doomed potions. Life to all allies. 5 mana to all other allies. If the enemy has a doom, give 4 more mana. Give 2 magic to all allies for each green enemy. Wait. Okay. So, yeah. It's, as far as dooms go, you really want the ones that create doom skulls. Those are the most powerful of the doomed weapons. And then there are the doomed books, the tomes. Like the Doomed Scripture for Yellow Attack Day. The Doomed books are good for Guild Wars and pretty much nothing else. Doomed Ram is heavy splash damage, which is nice, and stun all purple enemies and cleanse all purple allies. So then explode 4 gems. So, I mean, that doesn't look that bad. But again, it's 900 diamonds and it's just, I'm not at that point yet. I'm not at that point that I need to craft the dooms that I won't use. So we've got the Choker of Zul'Kari, another 75 gem one. So remove all purple gems and click Choker of Zul'Kari. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by gems removed. Now, the removed gems will not give you any mana. It's only to boost your spell and deny your enemies that color. If the enemies from Zul'Kari do double damage. The upgrades on this are armor, magic, gain 4 life, deal 5 scatter damage, and, interestingly enough, enchant myself. So, yeah, I do enjoy the enchant. Next up, is there anything else here? Yes. Yes, we've got the Dark Staff I just did. The Dark Shot, did I just create that? Yes. The Book of Brambles. Oh yeah, I've got a couple here. The Book of Brambles. I like this one. Deal damage to an enemy, boosted by elf allies. Then create a mix of 6 green and purple gems for each elf ally. So green and purple, really good colors for elves. And then upgrades. This is the Book of Brambles, and the upgrades are, we have another enchant here. Life, magic, attack, magic, gain 1 magic. So we've got 3 boosts to magic. Fairy Fire the first enemy, awesome. Enchant myself and give all green allies 2 mana. Those are the upgrades for this one. So next up, lastly, I believe, we've got the Arachnaean Bloom. Nope, nope, not the last one. There's one more after that. Wow, lots of weapons here. The Iranian Bloom does damage to an enemy boosted by Zulkari enemies. And Zulkari, you know, we've got purple and green. That's what we use. Mix of purple and green gems for each Zulkari ally. This creates a leaf storms, and that is significant, of course. Also, attack, life, magic, attack, magic, gain 4 life. Poison the first enemy, deal scatter damage, 5 scatter damage, which will help break barriers, and then create a leaf storm. So the leaf storm is super, super helpful. And then lastly, yes, lastly, we have the Nightfall Blade. So the Nightfall Blade, I'm clicking on things, trying to get the Nightfall Blade. Deal damage to the last enemy. If they're poisoned, inflict 4 stacks of bleed. That will do 10 true damage each turn. As long as those 4 stacks of bleed are there, 10 true damage every turn. So the upgrades are attack, attack, armor, attack, magic, gain 2 attack, steal 2 mana from the first enemy. It's not just remove, it's steal. Nice. Deal 5 damage to the last enemy and create a dark storm. Again, we've got something that creates a storm, so that also is very useful. So that is the end of this Soulforge video. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye!